SF Public Press, Lila.
Hi, thank you. I'm Lila LaHood with the San Francisco Public Press. I'm the one with the newspapers. So if you were here last year, you saw our first issue. Since then, we've published 3 more. We're publishing quarterly. We play around with it a lot. We're a local public interest news organization. We publish regularly online. We put out a quarterly print newspaper. I didn't bring them all today, but if you want one over the course of the weekend, I'll be bringing them in every day. A couple of things. One thing that I should mention, we produce about 2/3 of the content, and the remaining third comes from other content partners, mostly local nonprofit news organizations, including Oakland Local, local public radio stations. And over the past year, I guess there are a couple of things we've learned. One is I think we've learned how to do our partnerships a little bit better, and we're continuing to learn how to do that. But we find when they're more explicit and precise, I think both sides tend to get more out of it. I think our partnerships have also given us, brought us to some creative funding opportunities that have worked out well for us. I would say the biggest thing that we've learned is we're doing more, I think, better in-depth journalism by covering less. We use a mix of volunteers, freelancers, and interns, and instead of trying to cover all local public interest news, we realized it was too much. So now anybody who comes in the door, we ask them first to make a commitment for at least 3 months and to either to work on a beat or a project. And the projects are working especially well because we have people who aren't working on this full-time, working in teams, and they support each other. The senior people stay engaged. They're mentoring the younger, less experienced reporters who just the cycle of learning seems to happen so much faster, and it also takes some of the burden of managing things off of the editor. So that's something that has worked out really well for us. What I would like to learn, because we go into print quarterly, and at this point, we're not necessarily getting something up on the website daily. We're trying to figure out how to build our audience. Our web traffic is very uneven, and we're trying to figure out how to do that without spending a lot of money and to build a quality audience. One thing, people still scratch their heads when they look at the newspaper, but I can't tell you how many random people we don't know write us checks because they picked up one of these in a local bookstore. And I think probably the rate is higher than the number of people who go to something on our website and send us a check who we don't already know. So thank you.
Sheepshead Bites.
Hello, my name is Ned. I'm the editor and publisher of Sheepshead Bites, and unlike Jersey Bites, it did start as an editorial commentary on the neighborhood. It's grown out of that, though, and we've done some great reporting on what we do, and one of the things that I've learned over the past year is the challenges of overseeing and implementing expansion and kind of stable and self-funded expansion, and also recruiting new people and staff that, as other people have said, have to be passionate, have to really understand what you're doing and really believe in it. And I've been able to find a couple, including our new business manager, Robert, here. One of the things I need to learn, apparently, is how to register and enforce a trademark on the Bites name. But no, I'm really just looking to kind of continue forward with the expansion and kind of find out more of the obstacles that I'm probably going to have to face and how to overcome them.
Small Biz Chicago.
Hi, I'm Ann Meyer, and the name of my site is Small Business Executive. It is a hyper-local and encourage people to share their lessons learned and things like that, as well as covering news, although I really don't try to compete with Cranes or other news outlets. I can't do that. I realize, and as someone else said, I have very limited time. I'm doing this on the side. I'm still a freelance writer, and that's how I'm making my money right now. So I have to be very selective in what I put up. But let's see, in terms of what I learned that collaborating is it's just not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Especially in this town where the politics are unbelievable. And it just became kind of a story of, what a tangled web we weave with. I found out I'm more passionate about entrepreneurship than most of the organizations that are promoting entrepreneurship in the city are. That's what I found out. And then I also found out that I have really high standards as a journalist. I kind of took that for granted. So I found out that I guess between the two, I'm more of a journalist than I am an entrepreneur. But, and I am looking for that passionate business person to help move the move the business forward. I started as an L3C, so it's not all about money. Somebody else here said that they learned it's all about money. My site purposely is not all about money. An L3C, for those of you that don't know, it's now a law in about 9 states. It's a form of LLC, but it says that you have a social purpose that you put ahead of your profit motive, which I think probably a lot of people sitting here would. I've actually turned down advertising dollars because right now I don't have somebody running that side of the business, which you may think is ludicrous, but until I can find that person and figure out a way to balance the two, I do not feel comfortable as a journalist taking money from somebody that I might cover. And that's probably the difference too in being a business site. You know, if you're covering the community, it's probably easier to avoid covering business, but if you're covering business, it's really hard to take money from somebody who might be a news story next month. So I kind of made that decision. As far as going forward, I'm looking for a strategic partner, and I'm also trying to decide whether focusing on Chicago is really the best idea. I could make it a national site, which would probably push the traffic up. I could also just try it in another market I haven't ruled out, kind of just, saying Chicago didn't work, but it's a great idea, and try it somewhere else. I have to say, nobody has told me that it's a bad idea. I've had great feedback in terms of the concept. I have a multi-pronged business model. I do know enough about business, having covered business, to know what will probably work, but I also know, I can't execute everything. I'm one person. I would never have started this as a solo, but the people that I brought in didn't really have the same passion I did. So I'm looking for other people who are as passionate as I am, and I'm interested to talk to others to find out how you have found those people and how it's been working for you.
Thank you. Spot us.
Hi. So my name is David Cohn. I'm actually here wearing 2 hats. The first one is Spotus, which I have been working on for more than a year, so that'll be the what have I learned in the last year. And the second hat I've just started. Spotus is a nonprofit organization, and we fundraise for independent journalists and other news organizations. And I don't know if I have quite clearly distilled the lessons. I would just sort of say that it is one thing that I would encourage people to think about is how you can build something which is not necessarily a news organization, but a platform in service of news organizations. Similar to what Ben was saying, Spotus really only benefits by helping other people make money, particularly through the donation process, which is sort of what it's trying to zen out on. And as a result, by adding to that ecosystem, we actually benefit. Somehow, I think last year I was here and I was saying, yeah, we're good for another 12 months. And somehow every month I keep being able to say that. And we're at a place now where through some strategic partnerships, I think we're going to be around for a little bit longer and hopefully continue to grow, which is its real challenge is how does it scale beyond what any 1 or 2 people, it's really been a 2-person team since its launch. How can it scale beyond what any 2 people can take it to as a platform, right? That sort of technology scale problem as a platform, which I think we're going to be tackling in the next month or so. The other hat I'm wearing, which is what I want to learn from, is I'm working with UC Berkeley's journalism school. They run 3 hyperlocal sites, Mission Local, Oakland North, and Richmond Confidential. They are, I'm looking at them personally as sort of like test kitchens to try different things. There is an earnest effort so that they will become sustainable themselves, so that they can, because they are part of the journalism school, but they're out in the community. They're covering the Mission and the Richmond in the East Bay. They've now become sort of integral to those communities, so how can the university continue to support these organizations as if they are small businesses, but also serve sort of a larger role for, again, the larger community. We might be able to take some risks that maybe other people can't, so we want to try different forms of advertising, thinking, how can we get beyond the Google AdSense box or just the ad box in general. I think we need to think outside of that ad box and try different things. So we're sort of, with that, I'm kind of at a clean slate. It's been a month, so I'd love to hear some of the ideas that you guys would want to try, but maybe aren't in a position to try because, who wants to take that risk? We are in a position where we can, take a little risk on one of these sites. to try and see, you know, and then report back to the larger community and say, this absolutely worked or this absolutely didn't work, and or probably shades of gray in between. So.
Twin Cities Daily Planet.
Mary Turk, editor of the Daily Planet. Jeremy is the publisher and founder of the Daily Planet. What did we learn this past year? So many things. We have a large grant to do a 9-month, 10-month series of articles and community conversations. So part of what we learned was the extent of coordination that's required to focus on 9 topics, a different topic every month with about 10 articles on that topic each month, and defining questions for community conversation, recruiting partners who are not news partners. We've had news partners for a long time, but recruiting partners who are organizations and activists and people concerned about different issues that we are covering in the conversation. So that was major new learning. And what we would like to learn, I think one thing we would like to learn is a way to simplify access to our website so that more people can post their content more easily, and so that we can spread the word to many of these new community organizations that we've partnered with, that it's easy to create your own page and get your own content there.
The 109.
I'm Tommy Thompson. I wear 2 hats as the journalism professor and the director of the Texas Center for Community Journalism, and so does the 109. We originated the site to give our students some experience and orientation in hyperlocal journalism, get them out there doing this, and in addition to community involvement in the site. And also because in the center, we're trying to help newspapers develop hyperlocal products, and we figured if we're going to be talking about it, why aren't we doing it? And so that's the reason we're doing it. We adopted a zip code around the university at 76109. And it wasn't an area, it wasn't a neighborhood. We made it, really did make it a neighborhood in a year. A year ago, you asked people in that area where they're from, and they'll say, well, I'm from central part of Fort Worth. Now, frequently, you ask people where they're from, they say, I'm from the 109. I remember the night when we were covering elections, and in a little newsroom bullpen and everything, I heard somebody call. We were covering, of course, the 5 precincts that are in the 109, and somebody called out and said, "Hey, can we call these people 109ers?" And I said, "Oh, why the hell not?" You know, and so we had, now people actually kind of refer to themselves as 109ers, and so that's where the site came. We're a year old and just learning, and we've been very happy to see that in a metro area like this, people are really interested in the site. And what we need now is to increase that community engagement and involvement, and of course, ultimately, for our continued existence, we'll have to make the site sustainable. So we're looking for ideas there.